Hey guys, Brian with your PFC Training Minute to talk a little bit more about rechargeable light systems, both handheld and weapon mounted. I've done a full switch over to rechargeable systems for a couple of reasons. Before I get into the real down and dirty on that, let me just say I don't care what the light is, who makes it. There are problems, strengths, and weaknesses with every single light that's out there. Nothing is absolutely perfect. In this particular case here, I've switched over to the systems by Mod Light. We could talk about lumens, we could talk about candela. That's a whole other topic for another time about spill and throw and all that kind of good stuff. Let's just say this, is that on the rechargeable battery systems, they're capable of putting out a little bit more oomph, and that powers these things to throw out a little bit greater distance, cut through photonic barriers, cut through smoke, identify people at distance inside of cars through barriers, etc., etc. On the note of the rechargeable systems, super straightforward, simple, easy to use. These plug into a miniature USB so they can be charged in your car, on your laptop, a solar cell, anywhere you can plug that thing in, super quick charge. And on that note, if you were running on the old school 1, 2, 3 Surefire style batteries, if you got down to 50% or so, it wasn't uncommon for me, at least. I can say that I would go to a 50% battery and I'm gonna huck it and go to a full power battery. So I'm throwing away a lot of disposable batteries that still have juice in them. You do that 4 times, you're pretty much up to an entire battery replacement and you're just throwing it in the trash. These guys, you could be depleted 10, 15, 20%, throw in the charger, top it off, and you're back in business. They do a real good job holding that charge as well. On the negative note on these guys, the standard tail caps that they have, I don't have one out here now because I've pulled them off and got rid of them, is a clicky tail cap, but we prefer the momentary or the rotary style tail caps that come from Arasaka. I've replaced that on this handheld. I've replaced it on a weapon mounted carbine. I've replaced it on a weapon mounted carbine. That being said, there's another reason that we've gone to this setup in particular, and that is, unlike before, when you might have a handheld from one company, you might have a pistol mounted light from another company, a carbine mounted light from another company, is almost everything is completely interchangeable. So across all of these lights, these 4 that are here, and then the 5th other handgun that I have, which is just another Glock 17 pointed the exact same way, the bezel end of the light, the end that dictates exactly what the spill is, what the throw is, that sucker unscrews, and that is where the battery change occurs as well. But the bezels are completely interchangeable. So if we had one shit the bed, if we had one die, break, who knows what, they are potted electronics, so that's good. They're less likely to do that. They're pretty robust. But it's an easy switch across platforms. Handheld bezel, that sucker just comes right off. It goes onto a rifle, it goes onto a handgun, etc., etc. Tail caps. The tail cap on the handheld that I have and across these 2 carbine lights, that is again the same. And then the only exception where a switching modality would not work for one versus the other is the momentary, or rather the full switch on system. We'll talk about that in a moment here, the full switch on system that we've got on the pistol mounted light. The Surefire weapon mounted lights and some other brands that exist, they have a momentary feature where we can momentarily apply some pressure and turn it on. These mod lights do not. Some people love that, some people hate that, but it's either all or nothing. So you flip that light, it comes on, you flip it again, it comes off. One thing I do actually like about that is that it pushes us into our traditional firing grip, the grip that we spent so much time refining during daylight conditions that really matters, that gets us on target with speed and precision, helps us find our red dot, and then we completely throw that to the side because of a momentary switch. That's kind of stupid in that regard. I'm really happy with these systems. There's 8 million times I've told myself that's the last purchase I'm going to make and I'm not going to buy anything else, and then some new gizmo comes along. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you hate it, and wind up going back to the original thing. The pistol mounted light, that's a plug and play solution. So that comes from Mod Light ready to go. You slap that on your pistol and you're in business. The handhelds, again, that's a ready to go type thing unless you want to switch out the tail cap from Arasaka like I did right there, put a bungee on it so you don't drop it during manipulations. These weapon mounted systems, I've gone with the Bobro manufacturing, that pivoting M-lock head, which allows you to get the light insanely close to the rail. There's really nothing else I've ever seen that allows us to get it as close as that by rotating it into position and then clamping it down. It's pretty sweet, it's pretty slick. And again, these little chargers, if you buy the full pack and the setup, you can get a couple of these. It's really good to have one at home, one in your range bag, one in the car, and get one of those little Theorem battery boxes to keep your charged batteries on deck to throw in, throw out as you burn through them. So in closing, was this worth it? Well, it was very expensive to do. Good gear isn't cheap and cheap gear isn't good. But am I saving money with the chargeable systems? Yes, absolutely. Am I saving valuable training time with the ability to swap components if I have a drama or a malfunction or need batteries from one or the other? Absolutely. And do I have products that have thus far proven themselves to be super reliable, both as far as wear and tear goes and across a broad variety of environments? The answer is yes. Modlite, check them out.